God uses many ways of communicating spiritual truth in his word. For example, in 2 Samuel 12, 1 through 14, we find that King David had committed adultery with another man's wife, and that he had had his military leader kill that man. Then David tried to hide his sins. So God sent Nathan a prophet to tell this story to King David. Once there were two men. One was very wealthy and the other was very poor. The wealthy man had lots and lots of sheep and cattle, but the poor man only had one little pet lamb that he dearly loved. Well, one day the rich man was having company to his house for dinner. But instead of taking one of his own sheep or cattle to feed his guests, he went over and took the one pet lamb from the poor man and killed it to feed his company. When David heard this story, he was extremely angry. And he said, "As the Lord lives, this man shall surely die, and he will have to give back 4 lambs for the one he took, because he had no pity." Nathan looked at David and said, "David, you are this man." Before Nathan told the story, do you think that David knew that what he had done was wrong? Do you think he had verbally committed to the fact that he had sinned? No, at this point, David had not verbally committed that what he had done was wrong and was a sin. What kind of a sermon would you expect a preacher to come and teach about adultery and murder? And what kind of sermon did Nathan preach? You're right. Nathan came and told King David a story. Well, let's look at what happens next. How did David respond to the story that Nathan had told him? That's right. King David was extremely angry. And what did King David say should happen to that man? Yes, he said, "Surely, as the Lord lives, this man should die." And then David said there should be some kind of a replacement. Well, what kind of replacement did he say should happen? That's right. He said the rich man should have to pay back 4 lambs for the one he took, because he had no pity. Now Nathan took David into the story and had him feel the story by saying, "David, you are this man." Once Nathan had taken King David into the story and shown him that what he has done was wrong and that he was a sinner, and Nathan added more details about the situation, David verbally admitted that what he had done was wrong, and he said, I have sinned against the Lord." And Nathan used Simply the Story. This is a central part of Simply the Story. We want to get people to look into the story, feel how it was to be in that story, and to look and hunt for spiritual treasures and verbally commit to those and make what we call spiritual observations. And then once people have been discussing and looking into the story, the Holy Spirit has probably already been touching their lives and speaking to them and having them look at themselves personally in the story and making personal applications. This is what we call spiritual applications.